Kansas City Chiefs kicker.
Here you go.
Harrison Butker, hopefully I got that correct.
Hopefully you got it wrong.
Gave a commencement speech and compared Pride Month, which is coming up in about 2 weeks. It's June still, right?
Still June.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just making sure because,
I was surprised on his mind, too. I wasn't thinking about pride.
So he compared
we living rent free in your head, dog. Why is that?
Pride Month to a deadly sin, and basically told women to get back into the kitchen,
right, and
do, I guess, motherly duties or whatever, wife duties or whatever the case is. Like this is the 1915 or something like that,
or it could be today.
Whatever.
Whatever. Listen, man.
What's your thoughts on that?
Everyone's entitled, obviously, to their own opinion.
Yeah.
The problem isn't with Harrison. The problem is the university decided that guy should speak to our kids. And they chose him probably because of his popularity. He's on a Super Bowl winning team, blah, blah, blah. They didn't sit back and say, what is he going to say to these young people at this moment that's going to take them to the next level of their careers? Because they did not come to college to raise kids. They went to college to build their careers and to better themselves as individuals. And did he say something that you thought was edifying? Or did he say something that presented a perspective of his, from his own experience, that he was trying to project onto the student body? You're supposed to, and I've been a commencement speaker, you're supposed to pull on your life experience to inspire. He pulled on his life experience to criticize, to chastise. He pulled from his life experience to get political and talked about President Biden and his faith as if he is the person, the gatekeeper of the Catholic faith. I didn't hear shit from Harrison yet when all these Catholic priests were being busted for, come on now. Where was your commencement speech then?
Yeah.
But like I said, I hadn't even been thinking about pride, and I'm gay as hell. Why is pride in your mind like that, dog? Why do we stay locked in on everybody else's shit as opposed to just focusing in on what you need to do in your own individual life? I'm not running around telling people how to live their lives. Yeah. I break down politics, I break down culture, but you can read me, you can listen to me. I never tell you, you need to do this, you need to do that. And as a commencement speaker, I really felt offended by that because I'm an educator. You know this, I teach. And like your moment in front of these young people are so precious. And he took that moment and he ridiculed, the queer students out there. He ridiculed progressives / non-MAGA people. But more importantly, he took that moment and he just shat all over all those young women who worked so hard to get to that degree with his view of what he thinks they should do with the rest of their lives, as opposed to inspiring them to pursue what they think they should do with the rest of their lives.
Yeah, obviously I'm not gay.
I don't get into your personal life.
But I was offended because you know how I am about that stuff. I don't play that shit at all.
Right.
When you start doing things saying things about communities or people that you shouldn't, if you don't know what you're talking about.
If you don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know that individual person or whatever the case may be. So, me, I was extremely offended by it because I thought, what if you're on a team and your star player who led you to many Super Bowl victories or whatever you want to call it happens to be gay without you even knowing? And you do this and you treat it this way? Or let's just say somebody in your family is in that position and you say these things and you do these things. And then furthermore, I had a mother who's no longer with me, and I have sisters and I have daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And their job is not to sit in a kitchen. Seriously.
He said vocation, man.
Whatever.
He trying to make it sound fancy, honorable.
That's not their job. They have dreams and aspirations of becoming something bigger. I have a 14-year-old daughter who has her own company. And eventually she's going to probably, in my eyes and my view, take that company to a whole nother level in a short period of time where she's going to start taking care of daddy. You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be like, so all facts with London.
Well, that's the plan. And so when I start to hear this sort of stuff, you sit back, you go, man, dude, really stupid.
But
He doesn't get it.
But he's not stupid. He's part of a larger sort of conversation that's been happening in these spaces.
I understand.
He's a political conservative, and I have
Do
nothing
whatever
wrong
you
with
want to
that.
do with your political beliefs. But don't.
But it's part of this. There's this narrative key that's multi-tier. The first is that there is an attack on what it means to be masculine and be a man in this country. That's first. We have elected officials who talk about this. We have one who's written a book about this.
Yeah.
And Harrison is a friend of one of those elected officials. So it's part of that overall thing. Two, it's a political year. It's an election year. And so he's doing everything he can because he wants his guy to get in, clearly.
I understand.
And he took that moment to do those things. But I don't think he's stupid. I think he was very conscious of what he was doing.
It may have been calculated.
And it was calculated.
It may have been.
He went to Georgia
calculated.
Tech. He's not a stupid kicker, but he's an asshole kicker to me.
Educationally, that he's a knucklehead as far as
Yeah, he's
education
not a
goes.
knucklehead,
It
was an asshole thing to do, in my opinion.
It was very much so an asshole thing to
That's
do.
just, yeah.
No question about it.
Dad, what would you do if you had to deal with a teammate who has polar opposite life views than you?
Nothing. The same thing I do with LZ.
Yeah.
Nothing. Live our life and have fun and enjoy. And I've had teammates that were in question way back then.
You got any numbers?
Man,
Any
will you
names?
stop?
What, man? Kids are back in the market, man. How you don't stop hating.
You wouldn't want them.
Oh, all right. But on the offensive line side of life, I need some skill positions.
You wouldn't want them. But you're so stupid. And so
You are funny.
I've had teammates that was in question. But I've always been a person that wrapped my arms around people. You know, my daughter, your sister, dibbled and dabbled in that world, in that community.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? I embraced the situation and had no problems with it at all. Come on, bring your friends. Let's roll. We ain't got no problem. I ain't got no problem. When LZ came up to Maya's funeral, LZ recognized a couple friends immediately. It was like, oh, okay, I get it. So it's fine. That's the world that people choose to live in. Has nothing to do with us. All we can do is support it, live it, and be a part of it, and live their dream with them. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can do.
Man, I have
a
a whole community, straight up. I have a whole community of gay friends, gay men. And all we do is...
Really?
Yeah, and all we do, my little group, all we do is talk about ball.
Of course.
We text each other. When the Lakers got eliminated, my whole timeline was flooded with these memes from nothing but gay dudes who are just, like me, we're sports obsessed. We give each other shit. And all we care about is taking care of our shit, and, loving life and being good people and et cetera. And everyone else who heaps in all that other stuff in this space, they're the one that's making it more difficult.
We absolutely hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more from us, hit that subscribe button for all videos, full episodes, and exclusive content from the show. And don't forget to find All Facts, No Breaks on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.